Everything you've ever known about Deepwoken is a lie. We all know Deepwoken, the lore and PvE-based parrying combat game on Roblox. Well, that's already a lie. There hasn't been a PvE update in 2 years. And while Deepwoken is quite popular, its true history has been hidden from you for a long time. So join me in today's video while I pull back the curtain and unveil Deepwoken's true nature. Maybe it's evil, maybe it's gay, but I just know it's gonna be a jolly old time. Deepwoken is a world which can be separated into 3 eras: the old world, the tides, and the new world. For simplicity's sake, think of it as BC, the time of Jesus Christ, and the time after Christ, being the only one with recorded valid years today. Starting chronologically with the old world, which was approximately 3,000 Deepwoken years ago. The old world in pre-year zero's history starts off with the discovery of the song, and this song was awesome. This is like the best music you've ever heard. In fact, it's so good it resonates through everyone all throughout the world entirely. That's how good this music is. Soon after, the mankind would refine the power of this song through various instruments. You had guitars, didgeridoo, and even the triangle in there. And then there was the cantaclysm. This was the golden age of the song. This was like a non-stop party. It was so cool. The music was so good, it was like a party that would never stop. The song started giving people magic powers as they got better with their chosen instruments. And the cantaclysm was also, according to the lead developer Archmage, hella chill and cool as fuck. Anyway, this cantaclysm was the start of the industrial revolution of Deepwoken, giving birth to various legendary weapons and even the attunements, which I get you got based on what type of instrument you played. So flute players learned to control the wind in their lungs, piano players fire, bass players ice, and theremin players exclusively got lightning through thunder call. Various blacksmiths also created the legendary weapons during this era of golden age by playing music to them while they forged them. Kind of like how some people play music to their plants or, I don't know, pet elephants. With the help of a whole lot of child labor, significant technological and infrastructural advancements were made in this time. And guess what? This song, in fact, this music was so good, this party was so crazy, celestial angel beings from the heavens just had to come down and hear it for themselves. The music was so good, God sent down 3 of his strongest servants for a vacation so they could enjoy the party, because that bitch was bumpin'. 3 of the hardest partying angels, now worshipped for their abilities to party, were Neve, the goddess of the deer people, and the twin angels Alson and Nilsa, except apparently Nilsa may or may not exist anymore, so we don't even know. There's also another unnamed celestial who I'll get back to in a bit, and they must have been a crazy partier for what they did to them, because this guy got crucified. But yeah, these parties were insane. They had alcohol, drugs, party demons, party angels, the song, McGurgers, fruit salad, genetically modified cows that don't lactate milk but whiskey, 2 guys who knew how to do a backflip. Not 2 guys who could do backflips, but 2 guys who could individually do half of a backflip, so together they could do a full backflip, a party clown, and a few honey badgers. But soon after this eternal party, the tides would come. The tides are the embodiment of 2 things in life: communism and 40-year-old white women. You see, the music of the song was amazing, but the tides of the sea have very bad tastes in music, opting for EDM. So while the party raged on, the embodiment of the sea came and started sucking up cities and islands in big whirlpools for 2 reasons. First of all, tides are just kind of communist, and the abuse of the song being used for monetary purposes didn't like that. The song didn't like being exploited for capitalism, so it called Big Brother Commie Ocean to start taking people down and splitting the world apart. Secondly, the party was too hard. Imagine the song is like a big speaker. Eventually, if you play too much music too loud, it'll blow out and stop working. And the tides are what happened when that speaker stopped working. Now also, whoever was running through these party people kicked all the angels back to heaven where they couldn't leave, but for some reason, specifically one now unnamed celestial was crucified and left to stay in this altar for all of time. He's still alive, by the way. This guy could not have deserved this. Unless he's one of those people who goes to parties and starts throwing fireworks and like flour and stuff at people, then maybe he could have earned it. Regardless, I doubt this was warranted. Anyway, after the tides came the new world, the era where years today are counted from 0 to the current 1500s. But you see, the tides changed the world, because the world was now a lasagna. You see, it was separated into layers divided by body, but united by soul. The old world, which is now just the overworld, was just the tip of the lasagna iceberg. It's basically that layer of sauce you put at the top of the pasta to, stop it from burning. To reach the lower levels of the lasagna, you need to die, which causes your soul to be pulled deeper into the cheese and meat of the infinity lasagna that is the Deepwoken world. Every layer lower being less grounded in cheese and reality. After the tides, the song was left weakened. Think of it like a song that is now missing components. So in its golden era, they had the bass, the lead guitar, the triangle, the theremin, the didgeridoo, everything. And now today, we really only have the lead guitar and maybe some of the vocals. Still usable by those trained in it to sound good, but no longer the club banger it once was. Less of a party rager, and now a closing shift tune you play to kick customers out of your store. The world was also no longer in peace. You see, without the partying age, people were mad. They had no way to unwind their stress, and now the world was split into various factions for and against partying. The children of Neve, who yearn to party as hard as the goddess Neve once did. The central authority, who fight to stop parties all around the new world, utilizing methods like torture and intimidation tactics. The Summer Company, a group of remaining capitalists who specialize in technological advancements to help partying. And the Ministry, who worship Garfield. You see, the Ministry worship Garfield, who tries to gain power through his cultists to eat the lasagna that is the world. The Ministry even initiated the second great drowning of the city of Seltor, calling upon the intergalactic Garfield to swallow the city of Lost Seltor, bringing it down to the first layer of the depths. Then there's the Hivekin, who also generally just keeps themselves using the song to keep themselves well equipped and stocked up. They also farm quite a bit, so it's likely they use the song to play music for their plants, kind of like weird hippie people do. Now, the overworld is quite messed up, but way below are groups and factions who lie in the remnants of our old party society. In the depths first layer, for example, the pasta, of course, resides two main groups, the Divers and the Ignition Union. The Divers are a snobbish society, with their top two troop being the Black Divers of the highest rank, being Akira the Prodigy, and there's also Claris the Bitch. You see, the Divers are snobbish partiers. They're kind of like the people that go bar hopping in SoCal, and then anytime someone else asks to come with them, they're like, "You're not cool enough for us." That's basically the Divers. They're very exclusive, but they actually aren't that hard at partying. The first one I mentioned, being Akira, is as a Black Diver, is a prodigal diver carried by his bell. You see, a bell is a small note of the song, powerful enough to cause special effects depending on the party spirit of the user. Akira's bell is a manifestation of pure partying so hard it makes your head burst if you can't party as hard as him. But the thing is, it seems like more of an intimidation tactic than anything else. The problem with this is we haven't actually seen any real evidence of Akira ever actually partying. In fact, if you just claim to party way harder than he does, you'll scare him off even if you're not actually a harder partier than he is. And he won't even attempt to out-party you, which is a sign of a fake party goer. As for the second pretentious partier, Claris, a light keeper, who was born with the ability of ejecting rave lights. She's basically a human disco ball, but she sucks. The problem is she's just kind of a pretentious bitch. She makes you think she can party hard, but in reality she sends you down into layer 2, the meat, to party with the chaser while gaining the Diver's rep as crazy partiers, when she really just has mercenary party people do the things for her. And then the Ignition Union is like the opposite. They're rivals, but the Ignition Union allows anyone to party with them at any time, and they don't even make you bring your own beer. But the one thing they have in common is that they want to conquer the meat, which is layer 3 of this galactic lasagna. You see, the final boss of layer 2's first floor is the chaser. He used to be a diver on par with Claris and Akira, but he decided they couldn't hang and decided to abandon them to join the Ministry. After taking an oath of shared needles, he learned how to party with blood magic. And then even after beating him, you're expected to go down to layer 2 floor 2. You see, layer 2 floor 2 is where like the sleeping god avatar of party resides. His name is Etheron, and he's such a hard partier, being like, the party god, that when he is sleeping, he creates an avatar that still parties for him at a high level, right? It's crazy. You're supposed to outparty the literal party god's avatar. Anyway, I got a bit carried away. The depth's first layer holds the city of Lost Seltor, where low-tier party people are unable to escape because the voice of enmity requires you to prove your partying spirit to leave the depths. For a high-tier partygoer like me or you, it's quite easy. But for those who can't hang, for those who are 2 years sober and recovering, they'll get torn up and wrapped together with a bunch of weaker souls to make a party enforcer. He's really only a mid-tier party check, but if you're a real one, you can handle him. The first 2 layers of the depths are not the most important though. The third one, the meat, formerly known as the vents, is like a big oven you can cook lasagna in because it's all convection heating. Within layer 3 resides a guy named Pleetsky, and Pleetsky is basically just a chill guy. He smokes on that lava flower so much he eventually ascended to a different plane and learned to talk to the fire, and it now listens to him. That's how high this guy got. But then there's also the ascended Garfield cultist First Prophet down in layer like 9 or something, where he learned to talk to the shadows and control shadow magic better. Basically, Pleetsky is the guy at the party who chills and smokes, while the First Prophet is the guy at the party who sits in the corner and wonders why nobody wants to talk to him. But through loneliness, he gains strength. There are various other ascended party personalities within the world of Deepwoken, but we don't know much about them. For now, we have Pleetsky, the chill guy who has his own fan club of chill guys who wish to be as cool as he is, which is ironic because he controls the flames. And then there's the First Prophet, who is the ascended version of every antisocial party goer who doesn't really want to be there. Now, along with this prophet, there are various other ministry prophets like the Lord Regent, another Garfield worshipper who currently controls the land of Etris using hypnotism powers he wields by using a magic chair. This chair is lame and boring because how can you party in a chair rooted to the ground? Anyway, this Lord Regent guy isn't so good. Since he's a member of the Ministry of Za, which Za is short for lasagna, just so you guys know, another member of the Etrian Empire wants to take him down, named Maestro Evangard, a man who lives in the Isle Vigils who wants to kill the Lord Regent, because Lord Regent wants to put an end to the partying. But if he kills the Lord Regent, then the Central Authority would attack Etris, and there would be no partying anyway because they're also anti-party as well, just in a worse way than the Lord Regent ever could be. Speaking of the Central Authority, their supreme leader is a man named Drallis, and he is both unknown and unseen to the point where nobody knows if he's even real, and he could just be a legend. Although he likely is real because somebody has to be at the top of their ranks. Drallis is the true embodiment of a 40-year-old white woman everywhere, since he really hates parties and music. But he's also got the gun license of a 40-year-old white man living in Texas because he loves weapons. And because he hates parties and music, he really wants to take over Etris. But you see, I know something not even the Deepwoken lore writers and developers know. You see, I know the reason why Drallis hates parties, and it's because partying killed his grandma. You see, when he was but a small child, Drallis went to his grandmother's house. Key detail, but she lives in Philadelphia, and it was Super Bowl Sunday 1978, the greatest Eagles win in history, where they clutched up against the Giants. And the parties and riots were insane. The light poles were greased, the horses were loose, and amidst the chaos, Drallis' grandmother's building was leveled. And ever since then, he's sworn against parties of any kind for any reason. His rise to power started when he stopped the entirety of Coachella 2018 in an event known as the Godstorm. A party so hard 63 people died, and without Drallis, it could have been more. Sadly, that's one fun way to die. With the ending of this event, he rose to power with the loyalty of the Adrechian Empire and the Central Authority behind him. And that is Deepwoken's lore. Finally, accurately retold. Don't listen to Punchy, don't listen to these self-proclaimed experts. I'm the one speaking truth here. Anyway, that's really all there is for Deepwoken's quite convoluted lore, and this is factually correct. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. Deepwoken's song is a force of partying, of course. I'm sure we all know this, right? Big shoutouts to YouTube members Brick, Goobka, Pickle, and Drizzy Drake Fam. I love you all. Stay properly informed. Don't let these other people lie to you. And goodbye.